In what ways would you say has fixing your dating life and finding that ideal girlfriend helped you in other parts of life?
It stopped wasting my time on something that
If guys understood that becoming better with women was really not so much about women as about themselves, they would immediately change their mindset.
yes, hell yeah.
Improving with girls will suck in the beginning. You will get rejected, it will suck, it will feel weird, but the reward you'll get after that has no value. All right, guys, I am here with my man, Revan, who has joined the program 2 years ago. And, he successfully went through improving with women and improving his dating life. And today, I'm just going to ask you a few questions, see what was sort of your experience, what was your starting point. So let me ask you, first of all, when you came to me 2 years ago, what was your situation in dating like? And could you tell us more about that?
Sure. So my situation was probably very relatable for most men. And it was that I had never been through any successful experience with women. I was 18 at the time, right? A lot of people would tell me, you're still young, things are going to come up later, or you don't have to worry, you don't have to rush, things are going to come up naturally.
You'll find the right one.
You'll find the right one, exactly. And I didn't feel comfortable with that because I didn't want to wait. I was in a rush. Right? I would see people around me. I would genuinely feel the need of having a girlfriend because I needed that energy in my life. And I felt like it was something missing. And I just didn't want to wait. I didn't want to be in this mindset of I'll do my life as if I didn't care about women. And suddenly a woman will come to me and tell me, hey, I want to become your girlfriend. I didn't believe that. So I definitely understood that something was wrong and that I could find help in working with experts. I came your way. We discussed about what kind of problems I was facing, which was mostly making a conversation get into something. I didn't struggle too much starting a conversation with a girl or having girls around me, but I struggled a lot with the actual idea of making it real and making it a real relationship. And that is really what I struggled the most with. And I think it really was something I had already worked through my way up to the point where I could, have more conversations. But there was still a key piece that was missing. That was the conversion, if I can say it this way, like the part where you go from having conversations to, genuinely being able to say, yeah, I have a girlfriend, or I'm able to, bring a girl to my apartment, or just the end point, right? And that was really what I was struggling with the most.
Because you were talking to girls, you just struggled to consistently turn these conversations into actually, something of value, and actually have those conversations end in dates and maybe in girls, you're seeing more midterm and long term, right?
Yeah, I would go on dates. I wouldn't struggle to go on dates. What I would struggle with is getting out of the date with an actual, real endpoint, an outcome. And this is really what I was struggling the most with, because I found myself lost in the middle of the date. You know what I mean? The conversation was good, but the point where you had to make the date turn into something more spicy was the point I was missing. And so I would end up talking with these girls, but it was very platonic. It was very friendly.
So you had conversations, but you just lacked this sort of man to woman frame.
Yeah.
To actually have these sort of, more maybe.
Yeah, so that's exactly the reason why a lot of guys end up in the friend zone. Now, I was one of them. Like, I had a big, it's comfortable. And because it's comfortable, a lot of men would rather kind of go the comfortable way and stupidly end up in a friend zone, rather than trying to make up their way to a direction that's maybe a little more out of their comfort zone, but that would just end up in the way they want, which is not to just be friends with the girl, right? And so that was really my situation at the time.
So what was sort of the game changer thing that enabled you to go from having conversations that don't lead anywhere to having conversations that consistently end up in, things that are going your way, potential girlfriends, and now you have a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
which is the craziest thing.
I'll talk about it a bit later, but yeah, essentially the thing is that idea of understanding what you really brought me is this thing where I knew that I no longer had this problem of, positioning between me and the girls. So I used to see the girls as the prize, the thing difficult to get, and this very, I don't know, valuable thing that I would value too much, right? I would value the idea of being with a girl too much, to the point where I would not value myself enough. And so not valuing myself enough obviously means not being able to have the confidence to be in a conversation and really bring value on the table as a man. And understanding that I needed to recalibrate my position in regards of women helped me to just put myself in a position of confidence and being a lot more confident in my conversations, not having that feeling that I was inferior to the women I was talking to, and being able to essentially just completely change, not only on a dating aspect, but on all aspects, just growing as a man, becoming a real man, going from a boy to a man. I think that's what really is the hardest thing to do as a man in general, because you don't understand that. You don't have nobody to tell you this, but it's still a real thing that is almost more important than the entire dating, pickup or all the small things people believe in general in the dating world. But it's a core problem. It's not a detailed problem, like a conversation or which word you use or what approach did you use. Oh, did you say hello or did you say hi? It's a core problem. It's a personal mindset problem at the end of the day. That's the most important and deeper problem that probably most men experience.
Why do you think we as men pedestalize women?
I think it's due to, well, first of all, it's due to the fact that women are a lot on appearance, right? As a man, appearance is not our most looked side. Of course, there are men that, will be able to stand out because of their appearance, because they have a very good physique or they dress in a certain way. But it's not the number one thing that women usually look at. They usually look at our character traits. They look at our personality. They look at our sense of communication, our confidence, a lot of these things. But when it comes to looking at women as a man, we usually look at beauty as one of the first criteria. And I think that's the reason why. When we see a beautiful girl, we idealize her, but we don't even know what her personality looks like. When you approach girls, the first thing you look at is actually like the way she looks. But then maybe you'll go talk to her and you realize that you don't like her personality at all. But the first thing you look at is still the look. So no matter how her personality is, you will still idealize sort of her before you get to talk to her based on what you've seen, which was her look. And so you think to yourself, she's so beautiful, and you don't think to yourself, maybe her personality is this way or it's that way. And I didn't have this experience in the past. And so I would mostly look into the physique and think, oh, this girl's perfect because she looks perfect. But the reality is beauty is just one thing, right? And there's so many other components on a personality side or on a behavior side that would make a girl beautiful, totally and attractive if you had to have a conversation with her.
I think it comes from social conditioning to pedestalize women. Because if you look at Hollywood, if you look at Disney, we're being taught that getting the girl is the goal. And you as a man, you're always this guy who needs to chase to get the prize, right? But and that's what I believed in for many years, right? Until you get into the whole personal development thing, pick up, dating, and then you understand, oh, wow, I can actually be chased by women. That is crazy. And so I think for you, that was a huge thing, right? Like this
Absolutely.
mindset shift.
That's what mostly helps. And my case was a little bit special because maybe you can explain that from your point of view so people understand. But essentially, I joined the program and 2 weeks later, I found my girlfriend. And I've been with her for the past 2.5 years.
That is crazy.
And it's been the happiest relationship ever. Everything has been going really well. It's really the perfect relationship, and on all levels, I'm fulfilled with what I have. And more importantly, this is something we were talking about a few hours ago. So one thing you do a lot with your students in the program is this visualization side, making men understand what they want. This was also a big thing. And so you have this exercise for people who don't know. There's this exercise where you have to describe what the ideal woman looks like for you based on your own style, taste,
Preferences?
or what you're looking to get in a relationship or in a woman. And I remember I had made this exercise on a sheet of paper on like a Google Word or something, like where I would explain in a relatively big, because I remember if it was too short, you would correct us and you would tell us, this is not good enough, guys, I want something longer. And so I remember I did 2-3 trials until I found the good explanation and description. And after I've been with my girlfriend, I came back to my Google Drive to find this document and show her to be able to see if it would match with her. And I realized it matched perfectly.
Wow.
On every single level. And she read it and she agreed. She was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, there's a powerful thing. I'm not one of these guys that are going to say like, you need to manifest. And this is kind of like, not the right word.
Visualization is...
But visualization is real. If you visualize enough what you want, it will be a lot simpler also to understand that some girls may be impressive when you see them, but they don't have this thing in their life and their personality and their character, which will fulfill your life. So you will like being with her for 5 hours, but then you will not like, it will never be a relationship, or it will never be someone you want to live something with. Whereas when you know exactly the personality of your girl, of your dream girl, and you're able to then get that in real life and live a relationship with someone, and it matches with your values and with your core, then you know you've absolutely found what you wanted, and that's a big win. That was a big win for me.
If you're able to visualize what you want, but you also do the work to actually get it, I think that's
Of course.
the golden combo, right?
And for me, it helped tremendously to the point where it's not only on a business perspective. It's not only on a dating perspective, sorry. It's on really a lot on business as well. Because a girl can be an asset or can be a liability depending on which girl you have by your side. If you have a liability girl by your side who's only here for, I don't know, your money or to waste your time, to create problems, to argue, then obviously you're not going to evolve in life. And you're going to really pretty much stay at the same place. Whereas if a girl is more of an asset, she's here for you, she tries her best to, always believe in you, always be here to love you, always bring you this feminine energy, then it's the absolute opposite. And for me, it was absolutely that. It was helping me to become a man, helping me to start being more successful in business, because I knew I had someone who supported me 100%. And just have this peacefulness in your life of understanding that no matter what happened, no matter how your external relationships, your business, your finance, everything goes, you have someone by your side that loves you, that supports you, and that trusts you 100%.
By the way, man, I hope you're enjoying this podcast so far. If you're actually serious about getting your dating life handled, you want to find that quality girlfriend and just never have to worry about the dating game again, make sure you go to I'mJohnnySocial.com. You click the link below and you book a call with me. It's 100% free. It's going to be with me. It's not with some Filipino or Indian assistant. And I'd love to chat with you and actually fix your dating life together. So let's get this done and back to the podcast. In what ways would you say has fixing your dating life and finding that ideal girlfriend helped you in other parts of life?
It stopped wasting my time on something that I necessarily did not like to spend a lot of time on. Like, I like going out on a date with a girl and that kind of thing. but I didn't like the obsession it would create in my life at that time, because it was an obsession, because it was very hard to essentially try very long to get that as an outcome and not succeed at it. So it felt like a real
Wait.
yeah, a big weight, a big blank, something missing, you know, like a big lack. So it was a real obsession, and I had too much of my mind on it. So my mind was not enough on business. It was not enough on other aspects of life. And so that's really what triggered me a lot at the time. And I think quitting that situation and being able to live a life where you have this peacefulness and you can focus on other things, such as growing as a man, such as, you know, just growing on business, on finance, traveling, discovering new parts of the world, discovering a new culture, because my girlfriend's from Ukraine. So I also discovered a lot more about,
And you travel all the time.
and I travel with her everywhere I went. So it was really this thing where it was a full expansion on every aspect, just because of the fact that I fixed one aspect. And that's why I really found it life-changing. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize this. They think it's just about chase. That's why maybe they watch videos and they think, do I really want to invest money to fix my dating life? I don't know. I'm all right the way I am. But the reality is, if you see it only on a dating perspective, maybe it's not that big of an issue for people. But what they don't understand is they are basically just locking a lot of their problems into a thing where it's one problem that's just holding all the other problems below it. They search for a reason, an external reason. They search for another reason for why they are experiencing these problems, and they don't realize that by fixing that one thing, they can free up their life, literally.
If guys understood that becoming better with women was really not so much about women as about themselves, they would immediately change their mindset.
Yes, hell yeah, on every single level. Because at the end of the day, that's something I was talking with some guys lately. When you deal with a guy in business who is bad at relationships, for example, who doesn't frame his relationships in the right way, who is not good with his girlfriend, who, for example, is an honest guy, like, you know, he cheats or he does things in the back of people, in his personal relationships, you will also see a reflection in the business. And you will sometimes experience bad collaborations with these guys because their personal problem will reflect in their business. And in the same way, a person who is not fully confident on dating will not be fully confident on selling an offer, sitting with a client, bring value to the client, scale their business, make more money, meet a new client. There will be a reflection of that in other areas of his life. And that's really something that makes a big difference as well in a business perspective, because of the fact that it comes from personal life, firstly.
There's two types of guys I don't spend time with. It's guys who suck with women and broke guys. Guys who suck with girls, not in a condescending way, but it always creates problems. Like, you might be with your girlfriend and he's nearby and there's women and there's this worry that he might try to get their Instagram and it creates some issue. It's like guys who don't have women in their lives are in scarcity. And so that just creates issues. It's like some cancer. It's infectious, right? So I don't want that energy around me. I want guys who...
Or guys who don't have the right girlfriend. Because
Absolutely.
there are so many guys that have a girlfriend they're not fully satisfied living with, and they're the first who are going to cheat. They're the first who are going to try to look around because they haven't worked properly to find the right girlfriend.
And guys who are in mediocre relationships where the girl is not helping them and it's just this weird dynamic where they're unhappy, this unhappiness, this unfulfillment reflects into your relationship with your friend, right?
100%.
Like it reflects in different parts of his life.
Yeah, and I met so many guys like this who were the gold digger victim and who would live a peasant life
There's a lot of those in Dubai.
Oh, hell yeah, that's probably the place where they live mostly, and they would struggle living a good life because of this, not because they weren't successful, but because they had this thing where you could see in their business decisions that they had pressure from their personal life, and that this pressure came from having the wrong woman in their life that was a gold digger.
Yes.
That was just looking after their money and that was trying to get as much money as they could. They thought this girl loves me. I remember some of these guys saying that they did not understand why this girl was with them, because she could be with better guys or richer guys. So that was how insecure they were, you know, and just a terrible, terrible habit around it that would just putting them in poverty or putting them in taking a lot of bad decisions and ending up in massive problems just because of a single little choice that was wrong on one woman.
There you go, guys. I mean, you get our point.
That's the butterfly effect. It can look like a detail, but it's a full life decision at the end of the day. Because it's just a question of making the right choices in life. You can make the choice of, you know, going for what feels good momentarily and then end up in shit. Or you can do the opposite, go for a choice that's shit when you take it, but that brings the end goal at the end of the day, which is
improving with girls will suck in the beginning. You will get rejected. It will suck. It will feel weird. You will be anxious. You will have women ghost you. You will have women not respond to you. You will have women not go on dates with you. You will not get the exact kind of girl you want in the beginning, but the reward you'll get after that has no value.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Like knowing that I've been 2.5 years with my girlfriend, going for 3 years in March, having the best relationship ever, doing all of this, you know, improvement and life-changing stuff because of our relationship, just because I decided to take a decision back then, which most guys may not have. Most guys don't have too much ego. They think, oh no, I don't need a coach. I don't need a guy to help me. I'm a man. I will take the decision by myself. I'll find my way by myself. And end up listening to people's advices, but the wrong guys, people who don't know anything about what they're talking about. And these guys end up just being at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. Whereas if you're smart enough, you understand that sometimes you have to put ego aside and you have to really fix the problem. And that's what I've done. I just thought there's no need for me to pretend I have too much ego for this or for that. That's fine. Like, we have problems, someone has a solution. Well, why would I need to hide it? Or why would I need to have too much ego and think to myself, I'm better than this, or I don't know what bullshit excuse I would have possibly come up with. So it's just a question of facing your trouble, facing your problems, and just take the responsibility of putting your ego aside and take that decision.
I love that. Do you have some last words or any piece of advice you want to give to a guy watching this who wants to improve his dating life, who wants to get better with women, who wants to become more confident?
My first advice obviously would be to get in touch with Mr. Johnny, because he's definitely a person who knows what he's talking about, who's not just one of these dating guys that, you know, started getting into the sphere because they heard other guys talking about it lately. He's been in the game for a long time. He's been experiencing every single thing that he teaches and preaches. And I think that's really one thing that I liked from the start of, you know, our collaboration, and just having this capacity to back up every single thing that you said. And my second advice would be just put your ego aside. Try to come down to the level of your problems and understand that the best way to fix them is to just have an external point of view, judging them and helping you just fix them. There's no room for not being, you know, there's no room for accepting these problems. And more importantly, there's no room for, oh no, I don't want to hurt my feelings, or I don't want people to, put me in a position where I feel offended. There's no room for that. The only way you fix your problems is you get someone who tell you the truth. And that's what happened.
Absolutely. Guys, you heard it. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, enjoyed the interview, and it was a pleasure talking, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. By the way, man, I hope you really enjoyed this podcast, but if you want to go further and if this inspired you to actually do something about your life and more specifically your dating life, and you are an entrepreneur, you have a business, but you just don't want to waste time on dating apps and, doing stuff that doesn't work. I've helped dozens of entrepreneurs, guys in e-commerce, drop shippers, guys, coaches, freelancers, guys in crypto, actually escape the dating game and find a quality partner without doing all of this weird stuff. So if you're serious and you want to get this done, click the link below. I'm johnnysocial.com. Book a call with me and we'll chat. I'd love to get to know more about your situation and see if we're a good fit.